You're watching Car Babble. I'm Ewan, and here I am still sitting in the G20 latest generation BMW 3 Series, which is a courtesy car I got while I'm waiting for my BMW F30 previous gen 3 Series to get out of the workshop at BMW. So yeah, it's given me more time to do a little bit more comparisons between the F30 and the G20. So in this video, I'm going to give you 10 more differences between the two. So if you enjoy my videos, don't forget to like and subscribe, otherwise buckle up and let's get into it. Now I drive the 320d xDrive in the F30 and it's got plenty of performance, it's got 190 horsepower. This is the 318D rear wheel drive in the G20 and it uses the same 2-litre 4-cylinder, but it's only got 150 horsepower. And I have to say, barring at the top of the rev range and when you're going really fast, the difference in performance is nominal. So if you were wanting to go to a G20 and you thought, it's a bit expensive, I can't really afford the 320D or the 320D xDrive, I would seriously consider looking at the 318D. It's great. For me, the seats in the F30 are more comfortable than in the G20. You sit lower in them, it feels more like a bucket seat. I feel like I sit in the seat as opposed to on the seat, as is the case in the G20. And yeah, I checked online to see if I was the only person that thinks that. I know lots of other people have said the same. So that's not great for the G20. They've gone backwards on that, and seats are an important thing for me. However, lumbar support in the F30 was always an option, and it's still an option in the G20, which is absolutely pathetic. The aircon controls in the F30 are simpler to use than in the G20. They're not terrible in the G20, but the old just turn a wee knob to change the temperature, and it's less distracting on the move because you can just kind of feel it. Yeah, goodbye. They've gone to buttons and they're easy to sort of get to know, and I'm sure muscle memory will eventually click in. And on clicking, they do have a nice, satisfying, damped feel about them, but they're just a bit more distracting to use on the move. So you might want to consider using the voice control if it doesn't drive you absolutely bonkers. Late in the life of the F30, you were able to get Apple CarPlay as an option, and that was with a wired connection. No Android Auto was ever an option in the F30. In the G20, it launched with wireless Apple CarPlay, and late in 2020, they brought in Android Auto as well. So yeah, they've definitely modernized things a little bit, and if you're an Android user, life's better. BMW usually find a way to make their money out of you in options one way or the other, and yep, the standard kit in the G20 is better, I think, than in the F30. You're getting things like LED headlights, reversing camera, puddle lights, 3-zone climate control, folding mirrors as standard, but they have other things in the options list that are going to be on a subscription-based sort of arrangement. So it's going to be a bit like pay-per-view for boxing on Sky or something. And yeah, well, you have the plan, you'll have the option, and you can pay for lifetime use of it as well, but your car will come equipped with options that you not necessarily can access, which is just absolutely scandalous. The heated seats in the F30 roast your ass just that little bit better than they do in the G20, and I like my ass to feel a bit like there's a leaking hot water bottle underneath it. So for me, it's a clear win for the F30. The central storage bin in the G20 is a lot deeper than it is in the F30. So I'm kind of glad they've addressed that, because to be honest, the one in the F30 was a bit of a chocolate fireguard. The rear seats in the G20 are split folding as standard, 40, 20, 40. And I find that particularly useful with having two child seats in the back, and if I want to put the middle seat down without doing anything else, great. In the F30, you could get split folding rear seats, but it was an option. And if you didn't have it, you couldn't drop the seats at all, which is the case in my F30. And that really can be annoying if you want to go to the tip or you need to carry along items. Yeah, you're shit out of luck. It's really hard to find a used BMW 3 Series F30 that has a driver assistance pack with all the safety kit. And to be fair, back in that generation, some of it was probably quite unreliable, even though I can't confirm that. However, in the G20, you do get some things as standard. Not a lot, but you do get lane keep and collision warning as standard. And what's even better is, if you're someone like me who doesn't like those systems, particularly lane keeping, you just want to switch off permanently, you can do it. And that's great, because there's nothing worse than driving along and you go to change lanes without indicating, which I tend to do sometimes, and then the steering wheel tries to wrestle you back into your lane. I just want to be able to turn off all the time, and this car lets you. The G20 seems to be getting a better rep on reliability than the F30 so far, and if my F30 being in the workshop and being the reason I've got this car just now is anything to go by, well, that's why it makes this list. So there you have it. Still a clear win for the G20, I think. And yeah, I'm already starting to think about how I can sell it to my wife that I really need to upgrade my F30 that I've had for 2 months to get one of these. But considering the repair bill that's coming for the F30, my guess is I'm probably going to be stuck with it for the next 20 years. And by the time this one comes around to be available to me, it'll probably be really unreliable as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was useful. And thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.